Back, folks. We are on to segment 3, the MLS recap, and we're going to start, I believe, with some talk from Brett about the RSL Union matchup. Go ahead, Brett.
Well, it seems to me that the MLS defenders took a nap this weekend, or at least for half the teams.
Yeah.
We had several high-scoring games, and
Yeah.
that's really unheard of for the most part with the MLS.
Yeah, and we're about to talk about 4 of them, aren't we?
Yeah. Real Salt Lake defeated Union 3-0. Really comes as no surprise because Union have really been battling as far as defensive blunders.
Right.
And I almost feel sorry for Seitz because a lot of the time it's not really his fault, although there are some that are strictly his fault for positioning or just flat-out blunders.
Right.
But he just keeps getting so many opportunities to be shot upon that the goals are going to come, and they really need to hit up that defensive aspect. And I'm not talking about the whole team. I'm not talking about the back line. I'm talking about the whole team.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the weakness is throughout the team. It starts in the midfield. It goes on the edges, on the wings, the left back and right back. And then you got one solid player, although, boy, he's been a little over-aggressive this season, Danny Califf, and gotten some bad fouls. Other than that, yeah, they just look weak all the way around. And without an attack, when you're missing, I think Leteau is missing. Am I right?
Yeah, Jack McInerney has started the past 2 games.
And I'm sure that doesn't help. So,
Los Angeles Galaxy defeated Sounders in Seattle.
Soundly.
4-0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Soundly.
And, Landon Donovan had 1 goal, 3 assists.
Very nice goal.
What really shocked me is that, the Sounders typically have a very sound, very consistent defense. And to see them come to Seattle and get demolished as badly as they did, it kind of like woke me up. Like, is Seattle going to be the dominant team that they were last year? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, all right, they were a pretty damn good team last year. I wouldn't say they were dominant. I would just say, they were certainly dominant in the U.S. Open Cup, yes. But during the regular season, they had a great opening regular season. There's no doubt about it. Did they still have some, missing pieces? I thought so. And I think they're starting to show in the back 4 right now, including the midfield. And I still think there's some lazy players on that team, especially Montero. He walks around too much for me. He walks around too much for me. Let me rephrase that. Not dominant as in the entire season. I'm just referring to dominant at home.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They were a very dominant team at home last season.
Oh, I agree. And if you look at some of the goals, though, that LA are scoring, this is just a super confident team. I mean, Bruce Arena started a bunch of, second-team guys in this game, and they still played great. They are hot. They're on a streak. They're super confident. Interesting to see when and if Beckham comes back, if it doesn't kind of screw things up, actually.
I say it'll be interesting to see if Landon Donovan goes away in the summer, if that'll screw up anything.
Oh, I think a lot of people are predicting he will. So you're right. That will be, especially if he has a decent World Cup, there are going to be some suitors. And the word is on the street, Everton are already saving up a bank account to make the offer that MLS wants.
Well, and that would make sense because Landon Donovan, when he went there, he changed their entire gameplay from being a bottom table team to pushing them up, and when he left, they were still going on that rise.
Yeah, but they kind of fell off at the end.
Yeah, I think he was a difference maker, and I think that's one thing they all noticed. Even Everton fans noticed it,
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Everton presence on Landon Donovan's page is ridiculous. There are even some Marseille fans on there today who were talking, please come to Marseille. We want you really bad. So there are people who have taken notice of Landon Donovan, what he can do. And we're no longer talking about Bayer Leverkusen and Bayern Munich and his time there anymore. That's over. Everyone knows Landon Donovan can play.
I agree. Chicago went to Toronto and lost 4-1.
Yeah.
That was a depressing
That
game.
must have really hurt you.
Yes. We went there. We went down 2. And then we had a spark of energy when Logan Paws, of all people, nailed a 35-yard plus just a bomb.
I saw that. Yeah, it was awesome.
It was a brilliant goal, and I thought that it was going to be the spark that was going to get us playing well. And then Carlos de los Cobos put Collins John in, and pushed up to a 4-4-2.
Oh,
we've
boy.
been playing a 4-5-1.
Right.
And we started pushing. We were going on the momentum, but what it did is, especially with the wind and the rain, is it left our backline completely vulnerable to Chad Barrett, of all people.
Exposed to Chad Barrett.
the ex-Fire striker.
Oh, boy.
Who is all workhorse. He has some talent. I mean, he can definitely shoot if he shoots it on goal.
Right.
But he is a completely 100% blue-collar workhorse.
Yeah.
And simply what happened is our defense got stretched, pushing up in the attack. Toronto came back and countered, played some really nice through balls to Barrett, and Barrett completely smoked Brown.
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me.
Brown's
a solid defender, but when it comes to a speedy counterattack like that, Brown doesn't stand much of a chance.
No, because CJ's lost more than a step. He's lost a couple at this point, and he's getting old. And Barrett, who's he's no spring chicken or anything, but he knows these guys on the defense. He actually, I'm sure, has played against them so much in practice. He knows exactly how to burn these guys, and he did.
Oh, yeah.
He did.
That's all he did right there. He's just completely burned us. He got 2 goals when we started pushing up for the attack, and it left it open. Hopefully, Carlos takes this game into effect and realizes where he went wrong and where the team went wrong, and hopefully the players learn from this and really step up for the Kansas City game.
Yeah. Well, you would hope, because that was pretty ugly. And when you mentioned that, and I'm guessing they played McBride and John together up top in that 4-4-2. I mean, it just seems like, why would you do that? It's so obvious that the 4-5-1 is what you should play. If you really want to bring John in, wait till the 65th minute, pull McBride and put John in, but keep the same formation. Don't go back to what was a losing proposition earlier in the season.
I agree. The 4-5-1 has been solid for us. We were down 2-1. There was no reason to push the attack in the 65th minute. I think it was the 65th minute.
Yeah.
But still, we were down 2-1. 80th minute, yes, push 9 people as strikers and have 1 sitting back as a defender. We need the win, go for the tie, but there's no need for it that early,
Right. Well, we're about running out of time for this particular segment of MLS. When we come back, we're going to talk about both the San Jose Red Bulls game as well as a little bit about the New England matchup with Columbus, which, man, there were some bad goalkeeping errors in that game, one in particular that we'll talk about when we come back. All right.